Tucker Man. And if we can get, there we go. So yeah, you got Steve Irwin, and he's getting nice and cuddly with that little snake. And we've got Bush Tucker Man looking pretty suave and manly there. So yeah, so that's right, Bush Tucker Man and Steve Irwin. So some people are just naturally enthusiastic, while others struggle to put themselves out there, which is all okay. God made us to be different. So while some people are really good about telling other people about their God with their words, we call those people evangelists, what you may not know is that everybody can evangelize through the way that they love. So, what is love? And why do we all want it so badly? All right, now when I say love, I want you to know that I'm not talking about romance. And I want you to know the difference between the two. So when you see that certain someone and your hands get all sweaty and your knees go all weak and, I don't know, you get butterflies or something going on in your stomach, that's not love. Those are called hormones. It's okay. We've all got them. Don't stress. But yeah, that's not love in this case. Maybe when you're married and old one day, then it'll be love. But it's not love now. It's just hormones. So what is love then? Well, in 1 Corinthians, which it's not very big there, so I'll have to read it out for you, Paul defines love for us. He defines love as this. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. Love is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It rejoices in the truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. Okay, so now that we all know what love is, what exactly are we supposed to do with it? So my second point is, love yourself. Isn't it cute? I thought it was cute. I get to put cute photos in the PowerPoint because I'm preaching, so yeah. So in society, many of us struggle with the pressure to look good and to fit in, and many people turn to bullying because they can't conform to the pressures that society puts on us. Building themselves up by tearing other people down. So put your hand up if you've ever been bullied. I know I have. There you go. Everyone now take a look around the room. Look at all those other hands. There you go. We're not alone when it comes to being bullied. We've all experienced what it's like to be made feel inadequate in ourselves. We're all a little bit like, just give me a sec, I've got a prop here. We're all a little bit like this $20 note right here. Yes, very, very crisp. There you go. No, so we're all a bit like this $20 note. And this is kind of what the world does to us as a $20 note. They like do some of these ones. They might pick us up and on us. They might call us, you're worthless. You're pathetic. I don't even know why you bother anymore. Look at that hairstyle you got going on. It's not even, dude, get yourself updated. That's not cool. Or, dude, 4 eyes, really? Come on. That's not cool. We all have those moments where people tell us that we're not adequate enough and that we're not good enough. And so the world kind of just, drops us and leaves us. They're not worth it. But this is what God does. I love this. God comes around here, picks us up, and he realizes that no matter what anyone says to us, we're still worth the $20 that we were worth in the beginning. Doesn't matter what people say to you, we're still worth that. We're still worth enough for him to send his son to die for us on the cross. So yeah. So being secure in yourself and knowing the value of God has for your life will help you as you learn to love others, which brings me to my third point. Loving one another. Yeah. The greatest evangelical act of all is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. I'm going to share with you a pretty powerful story of how love between two friends saved a life. You may have read this story before. It's been shared quite a bit online, almost for the last 12 years. But anyways, here it goes, because I know you all love story time. All right. This is about 2 American boys, and it's actually based on a true story. So here we go. One day, when I was a freshman in high school, I saw a kid from my class. He was walking his way home from school. His name was Kyle. It looked like he was carrying all of his books. And I thought to myself, why would anyone bring home all their books on a Friday? He must really be a big nerd. I had quite the weekend planned myself. Parties, football game, with my friends tomorrow afternoon. So I just shrugged my shoulders and kept walking. As I was walking, I saw a bunch of kids running toward him. They ran at him, knocking all of his books out of his arms and tripping him so he landed face first in the dirt. His glasses went flying, and I saw them land in the grass about 10 feet in front of him. He looked up, and I saw the terrible pain in his eyes. My heart went out to him, so I jogged over to him, and as he crawled around looking for his glasses, I saw a tear in his eye. As I handed him his glasses, I said, "Man, those guys are jerks. They should really just get lives." He looked at me and said, "Hey, thanks." There was a big smile on his face. It was one of those smiles that showed real gratitude. I helped him pick up his books, and I asked him where he lived. As it turned out, he lived quite close to me. So I asked him why I'd never seen him before. He said he recently transferred and that he'd gone to a private school from before now. I would have never hung out with a private school kid before. We walked all the way home, and I carried his books. He turned out to be a pretty cool kid. I asked him if he wanted to play football on Saturday with me and my friends, and he said yes. We all hung out all weekend, and the more I got to know Kyle, the more I liked him. And my friends thought the same of him. Monday morning came, and there was Kyle with the huge stack of books again. I stopped him and said, "You're going to really big up some pretty awesome muscles with this pile of books you're carrying every day." He just laughed and handed me half the books. Over the next 4 years, Kyle and I became best friends. When we were seniors, we began to think about college or university in Australia. Kyle decided to go to Georgetown, and I was going to Duke. I knew that we would always be friends and that the miles would never be a problem for us. He was going to be a doctor, and I was going in for business on a football scholarship. Kyle was top of our class. I teased him all the time about being a nerd. He had to prepare a speech for graduation. I was so glad it wasn't me having to get up there and speak. Graduation day came, and I saw Kyle. He looked fantastic. He was one of those guys who just really found himself in high school. He filled out and looked really good in his glasses. He had more dates than me, and all the girls loved him. Boy, sometimes I was jealous. Today was one of those days. I could see that he was nervous about his speech, so I just smacked him on the back and said, "Hey, big guy, you're going to do great." He looked at me with one of those big, grateful smiles and said, "Thanks, man." As he started his speech, he cleared his throat, like that, because I kind of need to, and began. Graduation time is a time to thank those who helped you make it through all those years. Your parents, your teachers, your siblings, and maybe even a coach, but most importantly, your friends. I'm here to tell all of you that being a friend to someone is the best gift you can give them. I'm going to tell you a story. I just looked at my friend with disbelief as he told me the story about the day we'd first met. He planned to kill himself over the weekend. He had cleaned out his locker so his mum wouldn't have to go in and do it later for him. He was carrying all of his belongings home. He looked at me and gave me a smile. Thankfully, I was saved. My friend saved me from doing the unthinkable. I heard a gasp go throughout the crowd as this handsome, popular boy told us all about his weakest moment. I saw his mum and dad looking at me and smiling that same grateful smile. Not until that moment did I realize the depth. Never underestimate the power of your actions. With one small gesture, you can change a person's life, for better or for worse. God puts us all in each other's lives to impact one another in some way. Look for the opportunity you have to love one another. This story shows what it's like to love someone without any expectations at all. Love should be selfless. I mean, it's really cool when you make a friend and to, go out and make them happy. And it's really cool when they, do stuff to make you happy, but that shouldn't be what your friendship's based upon. It shouldn't be your motivation to love someone. I'd like to invite the band up now if I could. There are two people in this room this evening. Those who love God and have accepted Him and His love into their lives, and those who are against God. But the one thing is that both sides need and desire to be loved. However, the side that doesn't know God or his love for them need that extra little bit of love. We need to show them a little of what God's love is so that we can take them to a place where hopefully he can meet them with him and find out what perfect and unconditional love is all about. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Amy Woodworth.